Hi. Thank you for choosing In My Shoes. I'm Hilda Broady, your host. I have a very exciting show for you today. But first, we got to take care of some housekeeping stuff because sometimes I forget stuff. So first, I have to thank all the folks. I'm so amazed that all over the world. I even got emails from people in the United Kingdom. So we know that this show is broadcast all over the world on www.bronxnet.org. They're showing In My Shoes love, and I'm loving you right back. Thank you so much. I have three very special people today. I know that you're going to enjoy this show. But before we get started with that, I'm going to do my usual traditional. I have gifts for my guests because you got to treat our folks right. So I have my unisexual in my shoe. It's actually a flip flop because we don't want. I had high heels, but then people say don't. Guys won't wear them. So I got unisexual in my shoes for my guests. So this is Miss Schuan Reed, and here's your shoe.
Thank you.
And Jateik Reed, and here's your shoe. And Miss June Alicia, here's your shoe.
So much.
Welcome.
Yeah.
I only give you names because I do forget stuff, and there are things about my guests that I think they would like to get put forth out there.
Okay.
So first we're going to start with, sorry, Miss Reed. We're going to start with Jateik because he's the only guy on the show today.
Okay.
And you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? And
Well, my name is Jateik Reed. I'm currently 22 years old right now. I don't know really what to say. Just a little nervous.
you're a little nervous?
Yes.
You don't have to be nervous. Everybody here is going to be friendly. So I'm gonna flip it over to your mom and let her interject a little bit then.
Okay, my name is Schuan Reed. This is my son Jateik. When he was 19 in 2012, it was an incident with the police department, whereas they brutally beat him up, and they said that he was resisting arrest and had drugs and assaulted an officer. Later on, it came out that none of that was true because it was all caught on videotape. None of the officers were arrested or sent to trial or anything having to do with the incident. But that's something that's been going on a regular basis nowadays.
Okay. And Miss Alicia?
Okay. Well, my thing is social astrology, and I truly believe that it hits in many areas. It hits in the area of health. People that that don't understand things that should not happen, but it's in their nature. And we're having all this problem right now in regards to the police officers and things like that. And I really like to get into what makes people do the things they do. So to say that, I that's why I call myself a social astrologist, to get into the social media of things and find out what makes people tick. So that's something that I've studied for a good while, and also writing, and I was sharing my thing with the mothers, how the mothers do hurt, and it doesn't have to be my child, your child. Being a mother, we all feel the hurt, and I can understand the situation when that happened, that knowing that something part of you was hurt, and that's what's happening now again with all over the world. It's getting hit, and that's what caused me to write A Mother's Cry that I wanted to share.
First, we're gonna actually go to the video of what happened to Mr. Reed, and so that in case you missed it and you think that things are gonna get better, that was just 2 years ago, and we're 2 years down the road, and the police are still acting, let's call it unprofessionally.
Yes.
Okay, and abusing our people, especially our young folks, and it's time for us to take a stand. So we're gonna go to the video, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna discuss what has transpired.
How did 19-year-old Jateik Reed end up bloody and handcuffed on a Bronx street? His lawyer says it's a classic case of illegal stop and frisk gone terribly wrong.
Even if you don't have 20/20 vision, even if you have some substantial clarity, you can see quite clearly there were no bags in Jateik Reed's hands.
Bags of crack and marijuana that officers from the 42nd Precinct swore Reed was carrying. In the criminal complaint, one officer is quoted as saying he observed the defendant to have on his person, in his hand, one clear plastic bag containing a white rock-like substance, which he threw to the ground. In his hand, two clear plastic bags, each containing a dried green leafy substance with a distinctive odor in public view. But here's surveillance video from a nearby building. Reed walking with his hands out, no drugs in view. A former NYPD captain says it appears Reed shouldn't have been stopped.
The officers would have to only go in their pockets if they had reasonable suspicion that there was a weapon in there. And given what I've seen on the film, I'm not sure that they had that reasonable suspicion.
The Bronx DA dropped charges. And what about the hitting and kicking by police? Well, in the same criminal complaint, they wrote, quote, the defendant flailed his arms, refusing to be handcuffed, at which time the defendant struck informant, the officer, in his nose with a closed fist. It does appear Reed tried to get away, but on the video, he does not throw a punch. Still, after the melee starts, an officer appears to be checking his nose. Also in this exclusive video, a female officer walks over and kicks Reed while he's handcuffed. Reed's lawyer wants the Bronx DA to charge the officers with assault and filing a false report, something a former NYPD sergeant turned lawyer agrees with.
They were looking to protect themselves for assaulting this young man and appearing to brutalize him. And so there was an effort, it seems to me, to cover up for what happened.
The officers involved remain on modified duty during the NYPD investigation. The DA's office says Reed won't speak with them. His attorney says the video speaks for itself. Dean Meminger, New York 1.
In all reality, till this day, I have never sat down and watched the whole video. But it's just been crazy. Something got to give.
And me, like, personally, like, since that all happened, I'm like, when I think about it, I get a mix of emotions. I get angry and sad because of what happened to me, and I remember it. But then again, when I think about the others that wasn't as fortunate as me, that didn't make it, I get happy. But at the same time, I feel bad because I wish they could have made it too, because this is nonsense. Like, it's not supposed to be going on. Even now, like, in the summer, this summer that just passed, I even bumped into one of the officers that had parts in that interacted and beat me. And he told me, he said, yeah, I'm the one that beat you. I'm still working, so I don't care. Like, what? Okay. And then he stopped. Once my godmother came outside, he stopped talking, he got in his car and drove away. But it's still, like, they still bother me sometimes, but, like, more time, like, they won't bother me once they know who I am. They hear my name, they look at my ID, be like, yeah, get out of here. But it's a couple of them that's knuckleheads that'll do something that's not necessary.
I know for a fact that you haven't really let it stop your life completely. I know that you were able to get your GED. I referred you to the Mid-Manhattan
thanks to you.
Adult Learning Center. Because outside interference can make you less than and make you feel less than. But you're a bright guy. You're a bright guy. You didn't even have to go to the classes. I sent you to the Mid-Manhattan Adult Learning Center to go to classes, and they said, no, go take the test. And you took the test and you passed the test. And that's, our young people need to know that do the things that you need to do for yourself. We can't undo outside forces, but we are responsible for ourselves. So you need to live your life. We try to hope that outside forces don't interfere negatively, but you can't undo other people. You don't have control over those people. We're gonna take care of them eventually. We're gonna figure out a way to take care of them. But in the meantime, you're a young guy. You have your whole life ahead of you, and you need the tools necessary so that you can be productive for you and yours. Yes?
Yeah.
And I think that you need to say a few things as well, Miss Alicia.
Okay, there's something that you said, Mr. Reed, that they're still realizing that the officers, when they see you, or they once they know who you are, it stops to a certain degree, and then there's some that really don't care.
Yes.
And also, when you also said in reference to it bothers you, and it's still inside you, and you still have feelings about it, postpartum stress or whatever, because that is something that you will never, I'm sorry to say, really, that you'll always get backflashes, because there's some things in everybody's life that happens to them, and it'll still come back to you sometime, So I really hope that some days that it's not going to be always the same thing. You're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. But I was touched when you said the other people that got affected, that you really wish that they were able to survive just as well as you. I thought that was something really touching to me, because with that I wrote something in regards to that, and it's called A Mother's Cry. This was written way before all this nonsense started, and I was feeling the pain of mothers when they lose their children. I also do artwork, and children that has lost their life, I draw them, and it makes me get the inspiration to write. Now, talking about before I do this Mother's Cry, talking about our mayor. Our mayor is getting mixed emotions with the officers saying that they don't want him to come to a funeral and things like that. And I would love to say, if the shoe fits, wear it. But I don't feel that the mayor is really directing it to all police officers, just like you said. Just like you said. Some are ridiculous and some are professionals. And they're taking this and run with it, that the mayor, Bill, the
Blasio.
Yeah, de Blasio is saying, and basically it's the truth. There's some that's really out of control. And it's been like this for a good while. And I'm glad, like I said, that you survived. And the name of this is A Mother's Cry. When you hear a child get hurt or dies by the hand of man, okay, all mothers cry with her. Whether they're black, white, or any other culture, all mothers hurt. To hear a mother's cry, it is a pain no one can feel but her. To take a part of her away for no reason, to go to a funeral service and see a mother cry, will make all mothers cry. Stop the nightmare now. God's children are made to be loved and not to be killed or hurt by the hands of man.
Exactly.
And yes, and this is something that a lot of people have to realize, that not just one mother. We can't take away the hurt of the mother because that is your child. But mothers that have children is feeling the pain that you're going through.
And it's ongoing.
It is, yes.
That's the
Yes.
scary part. Is
Yes,
that
it is.
Like when my cousin was killed in 1990 in the subway for smoking a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
And we were thinking then, we can make changes because Dinkins was mayor then. We're saying, well, we got somebody in office who's going to give us some backup.
Yes,
and
yes.
Going to make sure this doesn't happen, and that cop is going to jail because of what he did. And that didn't happen. Absolutely nothing happened. It was a big rush to supposedly support the family by quote unquote community activists, and then soon as the cameras went away, they disappeared as well. And we were left to say, oh boy, he's just gone. And nobody recognizes that the families are affected. Your family, I mean, not only you were brutalized, but your mother is still going to court
Yes.
for the crap that they did.
Yeah.
And it's that 42nd precinct.
Yes.
42nd precinct? It's kind of scary. You know, I don't even know where the 42nd precinct is, but I hope I stay away from that area. You know?
And can I just say to go back what you said about the mixed feelings about that the police department is having with the mayor? I think that's been part of the problem. Nobody has been admitting that there is actually a problem. So now that the higher ups are actually admitting that it's a problem, now maybe we can begin to change it. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, the mayor's down for his police department, but he is not in his job description to condone wrongdoing.
Exactly.
If it's something going on that's not supposed to be going on, he's supposed to address it and he's supposed to speak out. That's not downing them. That's just what it is. But like I said, it has to be addressed that there is a problem in order to begin to solve it.
Exactly.
And now that they're coming out actually admitting, yes, there is a problem. This incident that happened with me and my children, I don't believe all cops are bad, but I do believe there are a lot of them that's arrogant and they're very disrespectful. You can't expect people to respect you if you're disrespectful to them. You got to give respect to get it back in return. You can't just go on the corner and say, well, get the heck off the corner, move, rather than saying, oh, come on, fellas, there's a lot going on in this corner. Can you do me a favor? I need you to move. You can't stop people and not tell them what you're stopping them for. You're supposed to let people know why you're stopping them, what is the problem, not just do as I say because I said it.
I agree with that, yes.
Unfortunately, we now have to walk around with copies of the Constitution in our pockets so that we can know what my rights are. And it should, the police are supposed to know the rights. They're supposed to know what they're supposed to do. This is not acceptable. All the mayor said was allegedly. But usually if somebody is accused of a crime, it is allegedly until it's proven.
Exactly.
So the verbiage wasn't incorrect. It was the fact that he didn't come out all for the boys in blue. How could you come out for the boys in blue when you have video now? That is the one difference that we can count on. Maybe we can affect changes that your eyes are not lying to you. You know, and it's not just one video, it's many.
Oh, yes.
Everybody's whipping out their cameras now, their phones now, and they're videoing stuff. And they're letting people, and they're putting it on the internet. Immediately, it's going on. How do they do that, by the way? Just automatically video, and it's on YouTube.
I don't know,
It's
'cause I
You could just send, I mean, on your phone, you could just upload it. If you have a YouTube page, you could upload it to your YouTube page, or you could put it on your Facebook. Just upload it straight from your
So
phone.
it's by the YouTube page.
so it's
And they got a stop and frisk app now,
was
so
gonna
you
say
could
that.
you could record while the cops is doing whatever. You could record and then send it straight to the stop and frisk website.
wow. So maybe we have a little bit of hope, perhaps. No, no.
I mean, you have to start somewhere,
yes.
but I think a big problem with this is authority. Like they taking their authority a little too far.
They abuse it.
Yeah, they're abusing their authority, and you can't just feel like I have this badge on. The same way, like they made the statement to say that he had drugs on him, but it turns out he didn't have drugs. So my word against yours. What they say is being upheld, but what I say, I got to be lying because I'm not the police officer, and it's against me. Now I'm looking at up to a year in jail, but I feel like I know I didn't do anything wrong, but the same standards don't apply to me as it does to them. But I have faith, and I know I didn't do anything wrong, so I'm okay with that.
That's ludicrous. That's ludicrous. That doesn't make any kind of sense.
And they won't even give the cops that's out here killing people a year. They won't even
They
fire
won't
them.
give them a day.
I watched a video on the news when they put Eric Gardner in the headlock, and he's sitting there telling them like, I can't breathe. He's not resisting. He's on the floor already. It's all y'all surrounding him. Like, there's no reason for you to do that. Like, just put him in the cuffs and take him. That's it. And then none of them is getting no type of
Nothing.
trouble or nothing.
But even before they got him in the choke,
And he had his hands up. He said, I don't got nothing. I'm not in no danger
I ain't got no
of
cigarettes. I don't know why y'all keep bothering me. So that means absolutely nothing. But then the times that you spent, how many times did we go to court? It was at least nine times. So that put your life on hold for something that you were just walking down the block.
I didn't even want to, like, that's really why I didn't want to go to college at the time, because I didn't want to take the chance that I would have to get arrested for one of these cases while I was going to school. And just now that all that is just messed up, now I got to do that whole year over. I just wasted a whole lot of money. I didn't want to do none of that. I just wanted to just go on a clean slate so I could just smoothly just go through my schoolwork and don't have to worry about going to court, going to jail, nothing.
So that's what you're planning on doing now?
Yes.
Going to college? Which college?
I'm not sure yet, but I know LIU is nice college.
LIU?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You got to start applying though. You know, it's a lot easier than most people think, because you just have to stay focused when you're in school. You know, we tend to, I know there's a lot of parties, but there's also a lot of classes. And you just have, once you get there, you just have to know, you plan on staying on campus?
Yes.
Okay.
Get away from this nonsense in New York.
Okay. So there's a lot of funding out there, and I'll help you apply for some. I have the scholarship guide. So it's like thousands of scholarships out there. And then all you have to do is apply. And that's sometimes where our people tend to mess up, is that we exclude ourselves from opportunity. I ain't gonna give it to me. And the only thing I take is, let me apply, and then if you tell me no, I need to know why not, and where do you think I should go, so that you never take this without some more information. But there's a whole lot, more than you ever need. And besides the counseling aspect of the college life, it's also very useful. And people don't even know that there's counseling available while you're in college. We had counselors back in the olden days. We had,
which is very important. Counselors can share their, things that's on your mind and everything with the counselors, and they also guide you to the right places to go.
Right, because we had academic counselors, and we had counselors just who were there because to keep our spirits up, and to let us know that everything was okay even when we stepped left, and how to get it right and how to get it focused. And a lot of the students chose not to take advantage of that service because they didn't want people to think they was crazy, and we kind of thought that they were crazy for not taking advantage of that, because it made life less difficult. It didn't make it all better, but it made life less difficult for those of us who, for the first time, were away from home, and parents weren't there. They weren't parents. They were guidance. They provided guidance, and I kind of thought that they would tell my mother if I messed up, but
guidance counselors.
They were more there for guidance and support. And that's the advantage that we have as students, especially in New York, is that we do have the support systems in place. So, and I'm saying that because the police department is only one aspect of this. This is a great city that we live in. It really is a great city. And we can take advantage of other things that are available that are not so negative, so that you can't dwell on all of the negative in your life. Otherwise, you'd be a nut. Okay, and you would just be stepping back, stepping up, back and forth. And it's time to, and I'm not saying forget, but to move on and take advantage of what else this city has to offer you besides the pain. Because it also make you laugh. You know, there's so many things out there just to make you laugh and to feel good.
About yourself.
This good about yourself and about this life, because I mean we're not promised tomorrow anyway, so you need to be laughing all the time. I'm playing the Angels game all the time. People think I'm a nut. Yes, I am. But my therapist said I was a good nut. So I have good crazy, so I could take good crazy any day, because it's about, see, you smiling. I hardly ever saw you smile. And I've known you for 2 years now, and I hardly ever saw you smile. You know, and I'm not trying to put down what has occurred in your life, but I also know that you're this bright young man with a promise, and you're my future. You're my future. So I need for you to go to college, because who's going to give me my meds? You know? So I need you educated and knowing what you're doing, and I know that you're not going to go to jail and give them bail. You're going to pay FICA. I say it on every show. I need you paying FICA, not bail. Because bail don't get me nothing. FICA will help me with my Social Security check. You know, so that there will be Social Security when you're old.
Old and time forget.
You know, and is there a way we can tie this into your astrological?
You know, all signs have a negative and positive. Like if I say about tiredness and forgetfulness, about like Aquarius and Geminis and Libras and Sagittarius, you know, they have a way of going out and sometimes they forget things. And I always say, you send your man out for a loaf of bread and he don't come back until 2 months later. That's an air sign for you, you know. And in children, the Venus children, Taurus and Libras, they have a way, if you tell them no, don't care how old they are, they don't want to hear the word no. They don't want to hear that word no. You can tell them anything, but don't tell them no, because they want to know why. And as they get older, they're still the same way. So I say that to say, when we get older, we still have those characteristics in us. And with police officers, teachers, or other profession, Wall Street, we all have people that has negative traits. And basically, that's what's hitting us right now. A lot of the negative traits is just going, as they would say, buck wild. And as the mayor says, he's not going to tolerate no police officers getting hurt. I would have loved him to say, and neither the citizens. Okay, because they took it personal, because he was talking about his son. He said, I see my son getting hurt. And if, you know, when it hits home, that's when they really tend to feel that they have to do something about it. So like you said, now that it's hitting home, maybe this is a chance for things to change. And I'm involved in political action, you know, with my retiree. I'm a retired teacher. And if and when I could do anything, I go to Albany. It's important. Not because this happened in this area, but right. Even after, you must stay active. Right. And because just like we all need protection, and I stay on top of it. So this way I know what's going on, and however I can help, I'm there for you. Mm-hmm. Okay? Thank you so much.
Okay, because I don't know. I think that the rallies and the protests that are going on are okay. That's showing some solidarity, but I'm feeling like it's not having an impact on the powers that be. I had a guest on weeks ago who discussed, well, how can we make the system hear our voices, besides the fact that we're going to try to get everybody to vote, because if we don't put some power against, if you don't do this, the consequence is you won't be back in office anymore. Right. And our young people especially say, well, I ain't voting because what's the use? So I'm wasting my time, and it's not really a waste of time. It's really necessary, because that's our power. And if we boycott, I'm talking about serious. Stop shopping. If we are the nation's #1 commodity, And we say, even if we only did it for a month, just put the money back in your pockets. Get a piggy bank, and every time you think about going shopping, put the money in the piggy bank. Put the money in the piggy bank. And if all of us did that, somebody would say, whoa, maybe we need to listen to them. Maybe we need to affect change, real change, instead of withdrawing. Because every time we get one step forward, they send us back 5. They send us back 5. I was talking to somebody about WOTC, which is the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. They let it lapse. So they're telling people who have been on public assistance or been incarcerated, they're telling employers, okay, we want you to hire them. No, we ain't giving you nothing no more. First they gave 80 cents on the dollar, then they cut it down to 40, and now they just, December 31st, 2013, they just let it go. But they're still expecting people to go to work. So we put it there, and people were actually using it. I think that's why they let it lapse, because it was actually being used. Just like I'm saying, you're going to apply for the scholarships, because if people don't apply, then people begin to think, the powers begin to think that, well, it's not really needed, because no one is applying for it. Nobody is utilizing it. And we're having some serious problems. And New York is the Mecca. Everybody's coming here because we have more than anybody else as far as opportunities. Thank God we're not in the South. We would have even seen you. We would have never even seen you in the South, because they're doing some real funky stuff in the South right now.
Well, it's hitting. It hit Missouri. When I heard that, I said, "Now they're not going to play."
They wasn't playing.
They was not playing.
They wasn't rallying. They was just rioting straight. They not hearing that. Like,
So
but
Missouri,
out here, like, ain't nobody gonna be able to stick together. Everybody too busy at bumping heads with each other, you know, instead of just paying attention to the real problem. Like, y'all keep bumping heads with each other, who gonna come and get you? Once y'all start bumping heads and y'all start fighting or whatever, the cops gonna come get you. And then they gonna do whatever they please to you.
Exactly.
So now who's the real enemy? You sitting here want to fight your brothers and everybody that you could be working together and change. And you feel me? Like, they abuse their power because you allow it. It's not like we intentionally allow it, but if you think about it, we allow it because we're too busy bumping heads with each other instead of putting our heads together and thinking of a better way to get up out of this.
Because that's Willie Lynch in full effect. If Willie Lynch meant for us to stay slaves, or to maintain that mentality, and it's still going on. So it's really hard not to bump heads with your brother when your culture is designed for you to do just that, because as long as we're infighting, we're not flexing our muscles. We're not saying we are mighty people, and we don't have to take this crap. But that's just the way the system is designed. And if it's one person at a time, if I can reach one person, that's what I say. If I could just reach one person and tell us, share that, which is what we tend not to do. Because I don't want to share with you, because then you may come and take what I got. And that's the attitude that kind of sort of that we have. Is I can't share with you because then you're going to come to my level. I mean, even when I was working, I thought it was really odd that I was written up. I worked for the state. I was written up for not spending enough money. Yes, because I always sent people to the no-course training because I felt that they would keep their funding by teaching my people. So I'm not going to, but I wasn't spending enough money, and I felt that I was spending the money appropriately, so that you could have a lot more. You could get a lot more out of the system without frittering it away. And for now, the system seems to be designed that some people are going in and just taking it. And other people are sitting back and going, oh, poor me, because they're at the pity party.
Right.
We don't need to be at a pity party anymore. There's too many things that we can do. We have power. I never realized how helpful the internet could be. I mean, I resisted computers from I mean, my best friend got her first computer in like 1991, and I run a bowling program, and I was doing everything manually, and she kept saying, you need to get a program and do this, and I was like, no, not me. I don't type, and I ain't want to do that, and leave me alone. And she had internet, and I was like, oh, what's that? And it was like not that much internet, and she kept saying, this is the wave of the future, and you better jump on board. And I still resisted. I mean, my phone doesn't have internet now. I said, it's a telephone. Why do I need the internet? And then you tell me you can go on YouTube and send stuff right away. I have to consider maybe I want more than just a telephone. And that's kind of my. I'm 61 years old. I mean, that's for young peoples. That's for the young peoples to do, because I mean, I haven't figured out how to. So people send me things on my phone that I can't get because I don't have internet, and I say it comes up subject, but nothing is there. No, so don't send me invitations on my phone because I'm not getting it. But that's reasonable. It's reasonable that we can call on our young folks and say, can you guide me through this? Can you make it less difficult for me? And then our older people will share their wisdom, because you know what, we actually do have. And I talked about my bowling program. We have senior citizens because my oldest bowler is 79, and I feel so good because my youngest is 6. The youngest is 6, and I watch them interact, and they're actually sharing the information that their life experience, which is kind of sort of what we tend not to have in our community, is people sharing their life experience. Or even, we don't have the neighborhoods anymore. Like our neighborhood, if I did something wrong, my mother knew about it before I got home. And she gave the neighbors permission to beat me. They didn't beat us up. They just kind of smacked us on the butts and then sent us home to get the real spanking. Because, your parents are going to, because you embarrassed me. My neighbors saw what you did. Everybody knows what you did. So now you're going to be punished. You're going to get something. And we don't have that kind of neighborhood anymore. We don't. We're not a cohesive unit
Nobody
anymore.
interact no more. Everybody want to bump heads. Everybody want to be on top of everybody else. When in reality, everybody in life is all about roles. Like, everybody have a role they supposed to play. Everybody want to play the same role nowadays in life. And that's where the conflict come at, because everybody want to be the top person in the same role. And you can't do that. Everybody's supposed to do different things, and they don't understand that.
Yeah, I just wanted to be rich and famous when I was a kid. Rich and famous. And they said, doing what? No, I don't know. I don't care. I'm just going to be rich and famous. Just let me be that. And then that's nobody's role, because what is rich and famous? When I'm rich, I know that I am wealthy because I have I have thousands of friends. And not many people can say that. And I'm not talking about acquaintances. I'm talking about friends. And our people are where our wealth is. Because I can walk up to people and hug them. There are people that remember me that I don't remember.
Me too.
And I'm like, and you have to be truthful with that too. And I'm saying, look, I'm old now. I don't remember a whole lot. Who are you? When I got a new phone, people will call me. I don't know who you are. I'm texting them back. See, I do text. Who are you? And why do you have my number? And then they say, and it's usually a relative going, it's your nephew. I said, okay, I got a new phone, and I didn't know how to transfer the numbers over. I can't get my contacts. So I'm going to keep going back to technology, because I think that's the way for the future. That's the way, I think that's our out. That's how we're really going to be able to get out of here, because if this show is being watched and I'm getting feedback from across the pond, and they're not saying bad things about the show, they're saying informative. We provide information. We provide avenues that people can travel other than the roads that they've been traveling thus far, because sometimes it's just not the right path. And I don't have a problem with people going down the wrong path, because sometimes you're misdirected. You can ask somebody for directions and they tell you the wrong way to go too. But you have to be able to suck it up and find where it is. And I don't read maps well. And me and GPS are not happy people. I yell at my GPS because it always tells me the wrong way anyway. So, but I eventually find where I want to be. And that's where I was alluding to, is I find where I need to be. Even though I've yelled at the GPS and I changed it from the man's voice to the lady's voice and back to the man's voice. And it's not that, it's that I want to go my way. and that's fine, because I don't have a problem asking you for help either, because usually if you're driving, people don't ask for help. Guys don't like to ask for help. I will pull over in a heartbeat.
Say that,
and ask, and most of the time when you ask a guy, he don't know. I don't know why that is. And you go into a gas station, they say, I don't live around here. And I said, what do you mean you don't live around here? You in the gas station. You're supposed to be able to tell me where to go. So if we think of our...
Even a cab driver.
Wow, that's scary.
Man, it
That
really
is
be
scary.
some cab drivers don't be knowing where they going.
They don't
I'll be
know.
going just like 10 blocks. They don't know where to go. I gotta direct them. Yeah, go straight up, make a left. Yeah, right there.
You have to direct them.
And that's their occupation. And
Exactly.
So they supposed to know this. They supposed to know this like the back of their hand, because that's their job.
So we're back into people tend to not do their jobs. They don't know their jobs to do their jobs. When I was running for mayor, that was my thing. I was going to educate the police department. That was my goal. I mean, if you listen to my exit speech, that's what I'm saying. Let's teach the cops. We could teach the cops. We could retrain the cops so that they're more. And this was after I had met you, but it was just things were building up. And I didn't trust anybody else. I ran because I didn't trust anybody else. Because they kept saying, "Well, you're not a Democrat." No, I don't know about that. And I'm not a Republican. And I'm not. We started our own party, the People's Party, because I wanted it to be about the people. It's about us. And I wanted people to say, "Oh, call me. You call me. We get this done." And unfortunately, I didn't win, but that's okay. That's the first election I ever lost in my whole life, though. And that's only because I wasn't rich and famous. No, it's all good though. It's all good because it was a learning experience, and I got people to at least hear some of the issues that were of major concern to those of us who are not most on high. I speak to the people. This is what do you call it? Grassroots. It's us. It really we are the fabric of this country.
That's right.
We really, really are. And no matter how much you kick me, I'm still the fabric of this country. And you put dirt on me, I'm just gonna wash my clothes and keep on walking. Because they said I wouldn't amount to anything. If I was my mother, I would have beat me all the time, every day. I would have, because I just
Had your own mind.
I had questions that folks didn't really want to answer, and I didn't shut up. And I used to hide under the table and listen to the adults talk, because maybe they would slip and tell me something. That was the kind of kid that I was, and I kept saying, but eventually it's going to mean something somewhere, because I knew I wasn't stupid. And that's the one thing that you let your kid know. You let him know he's not a stupid guy. And that's so important, that we instill self-esteem and self-worth. Even if you don't have a nickel, you're still rich. Because nobody goes up in here and takes out all of this matter. And the brain matter is what really does matter. We have a lot. We have so much.
That's why they say knowledge is power. And with people like you and people that's involved with different committees and things like that, it helps. It really helps to guide you in the right direction. And that's really the important thing of finding out the knowledge that's going to take you into the right direction. And again, you help to do that. And we need more people like you around.
Yes, and that's why we have a TV show now, so that we can get the word out to more people.
Good.
Because I actually was able to acquire quite a Fordham University. was my home, because when I went to Fordham, I was homeless. I went on to visit my family, and they didn't live there anymore. So I was like, you know where the Broadys went? Oh, there was a fire. I said they didn't call me because they didn't expect me to come home.
Right.
So Fordham was my home. So I was like, so where am I going to sleep when the semester is over? And I was like, I ain't going to worry about that. I'm going to get A's and worry about that later.
I know, that's fine.
You know, but they were there to back me up. And they just kept telling us that get all you can while you're here. And it wasn't only studying, it was meeting people from all over, which helped us. And I made lifelong friends, because the friends that I met freshman year are still my friends now. We hanging now. So, you know, that's your, what do they call that? You have a core group. And they didn't have fraternities at Fordham, so it was just, you know, student government and the Black Student Union, Black Molimo, the Black Student Union, and we just made sure that everybody passed, because we had study groups, and we utilized the system, and then we made sure that nobody didn't graduate. All of us graduated, and that's kind of sort of what I'm passing the baton to you, so that when you get in there, you're going to mingle with the right people, and you're going to learn what you need to learn and pass it on. Because saving it, that's kind of sort of what our people do. Is I ain't going to tell you. I tell everybody, I tell people more than they ever wanted to know. I had a lady call me, say that she was planning to go to school to do KSAC at Westchester Community College, and I said, you going for a certificate? I think that's wrong. I think you need to go to John Jay and get your bachelor's degree, because you need to be up to speed. You want a real job. You want to be able to meet your financial obligations. Did you do a budget? And she never called me back because she didn't want to hear that. She wanted to hear, yeah, go ahead and do that. And I said, well, no, that's not how I roll. I'm going to tell you the truth, and then you take it and use it or not. But it's not because you don't know.
Right.
And people have to make their own choices, but you need to make informed choices. And I try to make people know that. And I'm working. And I don't want people to think that I'm anti-police. My sister is just retired from the Jersey City Police Department, a detective. Wow. The third African-American female detective in Jersey City. She just retired. I had an uncle who was a police person. So I'm not anti-police, I'm anti-stupidity. I'm anti-abuse. I mean, I have a lawsuit against the city too.
My aunt used to work in the police station. I used to go there all the time, go chill, go see her, all that.
So it's
just certain people, it's bad seeds everywhere you're gonna go though. Everything is not gonna be perfect. It's always gonna be a negative to the positive. It's always an equal opposite reaction for everything.
Unfortunately, they haven't weeded out the bad pennies. They just have, and I don't know what their process is. I need to learn that. But I don't know what their process is to get rid of them, because if they can do something and there's no consequence, then they're gonna continue doing what they're doing, because if there's no consequence, that means I'm not wrong. That's the message that...
Well, they give them consequences, but it depends on who you are. Because being a divorce, I'm also a divorcee from a police officer. And that would be another show. Because it's really funny about the code blue.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
And, like I said, that would be on another, show, because that has a lot to do with what's going on right now. As a police officer's wife, trust me, I went through a lot. And a lot of the wives don't really share it, because guess what? There's really nothing that they're going to do about it. That's how bad that is. So it's now it's overflowing to the public. But trust me, it also goes on in the household.
And to just
touching base.
Yeah, touch base on what she just said about the code blue. I was going to mention that earlier. A lot of people don't even realize what that is. Basically, if we see but we don't see, no matter what you do, right or wrong, I'm on your side. So that's cold blue against black, white, Puerto Rican, Chinese, whatever. That's a separate race from everybody else.
They protect each
They
other.
protect each other no matter what. And I think another big part of the problem too is the judicial system, because I think that coincides too. You have all these people, if you don't have money, you have all these people going to jail. Half of them going to jail for things they didn't even do. You see how all these people coming home did 25, 30 years for a crime which now
didn't commit.
it's proven that they did not commit. How do
75.
you come to that, to say that I did this crime? Somebody said something to make you believe that I did this crime, and you were on the jury and you said I was guilty. Like I think they should have specific people that's trained to be on a jury. You have half them people on the jury going to sleep, not listening, messing with their nails, messing in their phone. You don't know what key part of a testimony you missed.
It's supposed to be a jury of your peers.
Yeah, and
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be.
and half the people they explain it to them what the crime is and what makes it this crime or that crime or that crime. But half the people don't even know what they talking about. The way they explain it to them, they don't even know what you're talking about. So it's like, sometimes they feel like we got to convict them on something. That's not to say people. Of course, we all know people do crimes, but if you don't have any money, like what do you do? Other than getting 5 years for something or 25 years because you don't have no money to afford a decent lawyer to represent you in the way you should be represented.
Yeah, because I never understood the plea bargain system. You know, it's like if I didn't do anything, and they have attorneys, what are the court-appointed attorneys who say, well, you should take the plea because you're facing less, but shouldn't I be facing zero because I didn't do it?
I was told by what I consider a real lawyer, you never cop out to a crime that you did not commit because that's on your record and now you're guilty of something you didn't do. But the downside to that, they might offer you 3 years for something. And you go to trial and you blow and you get 15 years for something you didn't do. So it's like you got to weigh your options, and it's messed up either way. Like I said, if you don't have money to pay for a decent lawyer that's going to fight for you, because a lot of these court-appointed lawyers and these 18B lawyers, they don't care either way. They're going to get paid.
Excuse me, what's 18B?
18B is like they private and they work for the system. Like where they'll take a case where
Pro bono?
yeah, like
Okay.
you can pay them outside, out of your pocket
Right.
in the I'm sorry.
So it's not pro bono because if you're paying them.
No. When you pay them straight out your pocket, they take private cases and court-appointed cases.
Okay.
Whereas the legal aid lawyers is just court-appointed
And
cases.
they gotta take a certain amount of court-appointed cases a year or whatever time period.
So it's just crazy, and like I said, a lot of these young kids, you got people, I think we all, we have to realize people make bad decisions sometimes. You got to be held accountable for your decisions, but at the same time, you're talking about a 13, 14, 15-year-old that made a mistake or, and did something that maybe I might consider it wasn't that serious, but you might consider it was. And you're taking these kids' whole life away, giving them 15, 20 years for something that what I consider to be minute. They had a boy where they broke in a retired sheriff's house, and he shot the dog. They was trying to rob it. Shot the dog, and they had to put the dog to sleep a couple of days later. I believe he got 23, 24 years.
20 life. 20 to life.
At 16 years old.
For a dog. And they kill people and they get nothing. That's kind of an oxymoron.
Yeah, and they had it on Facebook, for example, and I shared the picture in the story, and somebody was like, "Oh, well, if he did a crime, then he should be held responsible for his actions." I said the point they're trying to make is not that he did the crime, and yes, he should be held accountable for his action, but does the punishment fit the crime?
Okay, but then you have to also remember that there's that cradle to prison pipeline. Okay, if they're and it's happening. If they're going to privatize the prisons and they have to guarantee whoever's purchasing them that they're going to have a certain amount of bodies up in there because that's free labor. If the 13th Amendment say the only way you can be a slave in this country is to be convicted, then they're convicting our people.
That's what I read a book called The New Jim Crow, and they talk straight. That's all they talk about: mass incarceration, how they do it. They lock you up, then you're basically a slave. You're a slave in there. They can make you do whatever you want, whatever they want.
Free labor.
And they're right. According to the law, they're right because you're a slave to them. And then when you get out, when your record follows you, so then it stops you from getting up in the world. So they just keep you down here. Now you don't have nothing to do. Now you probably some people is not mentally strong to take in all that. So they probably do a crime, go right back.
And go back. That's why there are a group of us who go to the prisons, or I do web seminars from the parole office to ladies at Bedford Hills, and I mentor people from Bedford Hills so that people know that there are alternatives, and not just know it, but know where to go to get it. Because just because you're aware that something is happening, I give you specifics. I give you people's cell numbers. My friends is like, stop that. But I'll do it anyway, because if that's what you need, and if we don't start doing that on a regular basis, that's why we go up there. We go up there, and I don't particularly. I used to go to Rikers Island to the youth detention. That's a very demoralizing experience in Rikers Island. I wanted to cry. They invited me. And they were searching my car, and they were searching me, and I was like, "You invited me here."
It's even worse in there. And there's even worse. They even when you go to the doctors and stuff, the clinics in there, they don't work for them. They got their own job. Like that's their clinic. That's where they work. They don't work with the COs. They straight tell you like, yeah, they're crazy. Like, okay, I'm gonna write this down for you, take the report for you, and all that. 'Cause I was talking to a counselor. And I was telling her, like, they wilding, they abusing their power in here already. Like, lady come in here, start screaming, you look at me, I'ma slap you in your face. What? I went right to the counselor, talked to her. She reported, I called my mom, told her to call, what was that, 311, 411?
And that's when they arrested him.
For the cop thing.
When the cops beat him up.
And when I got into the incident with the cops, like, they had bust open my whole elbow, and I have a bald spot still to this day from that. And I had to get stitches in my elbow, and they kept coming out from the sheets and from the blanket that was in there because they had arrested me for that. And I had to wait till I came home in order to get any treatment because they wasn't trying to give me nothing, no pills or nothing, trying to take me back to the doctor or nothing.
All right, so as usual, I'm running out of time again. Well, it's always such an exciting topic that I just lose track of time. So this is just what we're gonna do, but we're gonna have to do a part 2 on this because I just don't want to cut it short. So I want to say again, thank you for choosing In My Shoes. I am your host, Hilda Broady, and I hope to see you next week. Thank you.